Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassett, and the Celtics murdered the 76ers last night. And Joel Embiid had this to say.
So for me, I just look at it, as a good step. Like someone said, it was not a failure, steps to success. But yeah, you just gotta, it's tough.
Patrick, Joel Embiid clearly laughing in the clip. Does he not care about losing in the playoffs?
Not a great look, Josh. Not a great look. Look, if I'm Philadelphia, I'm supposed to be a blue-collar, gritty city.
Mm-hmm.
I'm heartbroken. Because guess what, Josh? I keep losing, okay? I'm losing in the World Series.
Yep.
I'm losing in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I'm losing in the MLS Final.
Yep.
And I'm losing in the second round of the NBA playoffs when I'm supposed to trust the process. And now my MVP of the regular season is laughing in my face? Philadelphia, are you mad at your MVP this morning? It's a question we're asking.
Well, quoting champion Giannis Antetokounmpo.
He is a champion.
So that's the difference here. Everyone's like, oh, he's quoting Giannis. Giannis said it. Well, no, Giannis won a championship.
Giannis does have that ring. That's kind of an important...
And that's the difference. But Ben Simmons posting on his story, he's watching the game.
Yeah, he's tuning in. He's a casual fan.
Just happened to post the one where the Celtics were up by like 30.
Mm-hmm.
Nice house, by the way.
Yeah, just weird timing.
I mean, this house is beautiful.
He's got the wine,
a little bit of smart water,
yeah.
But Celtics, listen, Celtics look good. Seems like the script writers are getting ready for the Celtics-Lakers final. They're excited about that. They're trying to get viewership back into the NBA. 76ers, though, I mean, that is a tough thing. At what point is the process over? Or what point have we...
Josh, I don't think we've given the process enough time, okay? I think the process has to stay true, right? It's only been 10 years. We all know that a process takes longer than 10 years, okay?
It takes a while.
It takes a while. We have not given the Philadelphia 76ers enough time to execute the process. And so, therefore, I think we got to run it back. I think we bring back James Harden, bring back Joel Embiid, make sure Doc Rivers is the coach next year.
Yep.
And you know what? We run it back with the boys because guess what? It just didn't go their way. So bring back the process.
That's what I'm saying, Patrick. I'm right there with you. Joel Embiid, listen, his playoff performance was a little bit different than his regular season performance. Hey, remember this, Patrick. Remember this. Joel Embiid, MVP.
And people were saying, whoa, maybe Jokic should be MVP, but everybody was like, no. Embiid was the clear MVP.
Yeah.
Well, not in these playoffs, Josh.
I mean, 33 points average regular season.
I'd argue that's great.
That's great. I mean, does dip down 10 points in the playoffs, the actual series that matters.
Yeah, it's not great.
Not great. But hey,
Hey, when you got Joel Embiid, he's only averaging 23 in the playoffs, and you got Jason Tatum going off for 51. Just not your day.
Tough combination.
Yeah.
This is now Doc Rivers. Now, fun stat about Doc Rivers: 7 teams to blow a 3-1 lead. Now, Patrick,
or 3-2.
This was 3-2 lead, right? Yeah.
This was a 3-2 lead.
This is not adding to that stat for Doc. That being said, doesn't seem like Doc can close out a series.
I don't think you're giving Doc enough time, man. You got
to trust the process.
That's the problem. You got to trust the process. You haven't given him enough time to right this ship in Philadelphia. Because if I know anything, you're bringing a winning coach. And Doc Rivers, if you look at his hand, he's got multiple rings on there. If we know anything, he is going to give it all, right? I mean, he's battling, right? He's on the court. He's emotion-filled. I mean, the guy can barely even speak after a game. So you know he's giving it his all. So, look, for Philadelphia, it's sad. You got it's a sad little sports time for you guys. Just think about it. If things went your way, you guys could be a city of champions. But instead, it's unfortunate you guys aren't. You hate to see it, right, Josh?
Really tough. But hey, maybe Philadelphia sign Jalen Hurts. NFL season coming.
Right,
around.
because if we know anything,
if we know anything, when Philadelphia signs a quarterback to a massive deal, that works. And so we're excited to see what Philadelphia does next.
Let's look at the history of who they signed. Donovan McNabb. We see how many rings they brought the city of Philadelphia. Carson Wentz,
Boom.
A great backup quarterback now. So
insane.
Congratulations to
Philadelphia. Good job, Philadelphia. Moving on. This is a story that I feel bad even saying.
We got to touch it though, Josh.
Ja Morant does it again.
Quick fashion question. Should I wear this Tech 9 with the high tops? Or should I wear this Uzi with my low tops?
Now,
he did it.
If you recall, several months ago, a Instagram live was screen recorded of Ja Morant holding a gun in a club. Just a regular club. Maybe not. Anyway, NBA does not like this at all, actually. They hate this. They suspend him from games. Ja Morant has to come out through the whole song and dance. He's on sitting down on interviews going, hey, I messed up. I won't happen again. This is clearly on me. He handled it the way that I think you need to handle it. Well,
he did it again.
And at some point, you'll listen.
Hey, credit to Ja Morant, though, this time. It wasn't his Instagram.
Which, by the way, that friend...
Is he a friend?
All-time horrible friend.
Yeah, like we can't go live in that scenario.
It's like if I'm a friend of Ja's and I'm looking and he even has a gun within the vicinity of him, I'm like,
we're staying off.
We're staying off. He really fumbled the bag here because not only, listen, we all know if you're a friend of an NBA player, you're probably having some perks of being a friend of the NBA player.
I would say there's probably a lot of perks.
And guess what? If that friend is not in the NBA, you lose those perks. Dude, you're not even don't look out for your friend. Look out for you.
Yeah, because you're like, be selfish. Be like, I want these perks. Because guess what? If now Ja Morant's going, well, if I can't get the perks myself because I'm going to be suspended, you sure are not going to get the perks.
Yeah. And that's...
I would call that a lose-lose scenario.
That's just a short-sighted move by the friend there. I don't understand how this happens again. Whether you disagree or agree with how the NBA handled it the first time, that's one thing. But the precedent's been set. The NBA does not like this.
And also,
don't do it again.
Here's the problem, Josh, is it wasn't like he just showed up on one video and he had a gun the first time. He was like borderline maybe assaulting kids. His crew was
that's true.
Sending lasers at the Pacers. It was a bad series of events.
It was, yeah.
So now you're here and it's May, and I think it's safe to say Ja Morant might not be playing basketball to start the next season.
Safe to say that for sure. Ja, just come on, man. You're
you're a good player, man.
Listen, dude. Guess what? There's about there's a billion people who were doing what you were doing in that car that would rather, if they could, actually be playing in the NBA.
You think a billion, just a billion? That's 1 in 8 people in the world.
Yeah, that's decent. Well, that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
Maybe less than that.
Because it's like you got to think about like you age out a certain population. It's like because it's like 50 and older. I don't know if they want to play in the league.
Yeah, but also not everyone's gonna be doing what he's doing in the
right.
car.
But you know what I mean. Like I don't know if they want to play NBA. Is my point.
No, but they probably want to if they could.
Well, if they could, but it comes with caveats. It's like,
my
back's still gonna hurt.
Away from your family.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Good point. Suns fire Monty Williams. Now this is a shocking move.
Well, we all know it's the coach's fault, Josh. When you lose, it's not like it's not like it could be the players' fault on the court.
Not the players, not the GM, not the owner. It's the coach's fault.
Not the owner for getting into a fight. That could never happen.
And I'm sure it's not like obviously Monty Williams. Monty Williams when they were the number 1 seed and had the most wins in basketball, they said he was the one who personally said, "Hey, when I'm drawing up these plays or when I'm drawing up these rotations, I don't actually like having this much depth in my rotations."
They said,
I don't like that when it's, the third quarter and Devin Booker's not on the court. I don't like that I have a guy who's kind of reliable right there. And so then what does he do? Well, he says, I want to lose that all, and I want to get Kevin Durant so that these rotations that I'm cooking up are going to be good.
Right, because it just wasn't good enough, Josh. They looked at it. They said, you know what? We're the number 1 seed in the West. It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
And if I had guessed, it was Monty personally was the one who said this.
And said, you know what? We got to go trade half the roster. That's what he said. Future. He said, we got to trade our future and the roster because our 1 seed is not good enough.
Yep. And I think that's why Monty that's why he got fired. And it's like, can you blame the Suns in this situation? I don't think you can.
It's almost like you didn't have a choice. We know if you can trade away your whole future, your 4 first-round picks, pick swaps in other years, and you're going to get back Kevin Durant, who we all know how successful he has been outside of the Golden State Warriors. That's a guy that you're going to get, okay? And you bring him in, and you know what? Maybe it was Chris Paul's fault. He gets injured. It couldn't be KD's fault. Definitely isn't.
No.
And they're not going to blame it on Chris Paul because, he had the injury. So you start looking around and you start going, it was Monty's.
Now, do you think that the Suns could have traded Monty?
I feel like they could have got a second-round pick for Monty Williams.
Yeah. I don't know. That just feels like, I don't know why that doesn't happen more often.
Yeah, because you trade Monty for a late second round, right? So you're looking at, the very end of the draft. But someone out there, if I'm looking around and I'm going, okay, I'm in the lottery, right? I can go get Monty Williams. I know he's a good coach.
Yeah.
Well, Suns will disagree with that, but I know he's a good coach.
Change the program.
Change the culture, Josh. He's going to change the culture of a franchise.
Speaking of the draft lottery is tomorrow. And now this is for a few teams, this is pretty much...
This is make or break.
This is everything you've been waiting for. This is what the Mavericks literally said, hey, we're in a perfect place to try to make the playoffs. We just traded a lot for Kyrie Irving for this specific run. We are going to forfeit all of that for a 4% chance in this.
It's actually
3% chance.
3%, yep.
In this lottery to get Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, I'm rooting for them.
I'll tell you what, there's going to be one year when some team like the Mavericks, who have the 10th best odds, are going to come in there and somehow just win the whole lottery.
Why can't it be this year?
Maybe it's this year. Because, Josh, guess what? Here's what's riding for the Mavericks. It's got to be top 10. If their pick falls outside the top 10, the New York Knicks get the pick. Okay? It's top 10 protected. So a lot of pressure on the lottery balls here. Okay? You got to make sure it's a top 10 pick. But, Josh, when we start looking, who's got the best odds to get Victor Wembanyama?
Who's got it?
You start looking around, you go Detroit at 14%, Houston at 14%, San Antonio at 14%.
Dude, that's the best odds? You're kidding me, right?
That's your best odds.
So 14% is horrible, actually.
You're waiting your whole life as a fan of this franchise, as a player of the franchise,
for
coach
a
of the franchise.
14% chance that it's going to be better?
Only 14%.
Oh, man, that's awful, dude. I guess that prevents tanking, but also did it? Because we literally saw people tank.
Actually, you saw the 10th worst team tank. Not even.
Actually, so we arguably made a bigger problem.
You made a bigger problem with the lottery.
Now, can they juice those balls? Can they? Because listen, when it's
get some extra atoms.
It's like
in the balls
it's like a little thing, right?
Right,
and sucks it
around.
up. Could you get a little bit of lighter ball that just somehow floats more, or maybe it's a heavier ball that
Or Josh, hear me out. Maybe not all the teams' balls are in there.
Oh, you're saying that they're just. Listen. There's been always a lot of conspiracy theories about the lottery balls for forever. Especially for teams like leagues like the NHL, where in the NHL you don't even get to
see the pick.
So it's like wait a second, you kidding me? So there's always going to be conspiracies about this. But hey, good luck.
Hey, good luck to those three teams.
To the teams, those three teams.
Hey, another team that a lot of people were talking about this morning, Josh. Shout out to Michael Jordan and the Hornets.
Oh, the Hornets. Yeah, some
12.5% chance, Josh. This could change their franchise.
Some are saying that if the Hornets get Victor Wembanyama, Michael Jordan's not going to sell the team.
It could happen, Josh. You get Victor Wembanyama, all of a sudden you're going, yeah, you know what? Being an NBA owner is pretty cool.
He's like, yeah, why don't we just run this a couple more years?
Yeah, a couple more years.
We got LaMelo. Maybe he'll get healthy.
Yeah, name another guy on that roster.
We got
Gordon Hayward, I think.
Victor Wembanyama. That's big three.
Hey, Victor Wembanyama's friend. I'm sure you get him probably from the EuroLeague. You bring him in.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you know anything, you're building around Wembanyama. If he goes, hey, I got a guy. You're gonna go, okay, we're gonna bring him in.
We're gonna give him a shot. Yeah. So cool. Well, shout out. Good luck to all the teams in the lottery. Mm-hmm. We believe in you. Moving on, NASCAR. This was a crazy week in NASCAR.
Awesome
Patrick.
Week in NASCAR, Josh.
Now, racing at Darlington.
Mm-hmm.
This is
a
tough track. Comes down to the last few laps here. We restart. Ross Chastain runs 5 up the track into the wall. Wrecks them both. Comes down and then it was not a good look.
Yeah, but Josh, you're leaving out a huge detail.
What's the detail?
Is that the restart prior, Kyle Larson did the exact same thing to Ross Chastain and threw him in the wall.
Now, they didn't both get taken out of the race. So I wouldn't say it's the exact same thing.
It was pretty much the exact same thing.
I wouldn't say it's the exact same thing. What I will say is this. Listen, I love the aggressive driving by Ross Chastain. Awesome. And I think you're right. If there ever was a time in the race to race that aggressively,
it's 4 laps to go.
4 laps to go to win the race.
I would argue.
That being said, if you're going to do that to a driver, try not to do it to one of the Hendrick boys. That might not be the good look.
Josh, there's a lot of talk out of that Hendrick camp. Last week, Chase Elliott tells
Hendrick himself.
I understand that. Last week, Chase Elliott goes and tells Noah Gragson, go get him. Kyle Larson on the radio. He's always talking about Chastain taking him out. Cliff Daniels, his crew chief, is 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row. Rick Hendrick himself, saying he's making a lot of enemies in the garage. Well, Josh, Ross Chastain better keep doing the damn thing because guess what?
What's that?
He's number 1 in points. It's working. And everyone else is too scared of him. They're scared of what he's doing.
Well, they're scared that he's also, if they confront him, because if they talk about him in the media, it's like bad look. It's like, oh, well, you're scared. But if you confront him, you might get a fist in the face.
Well, that's the problem. Okay, so you talk about him in the media, everybody's going to go, well, you're not doing anything to him. You just look scared. You go confront him, you're going to get beat up. And you go try to race him on the racetrack, you're probably going to get passed. So I think things are working out really well for Ross Chastain right now.
I agree, man. I agree. He's making enemies out there. I will say that, though. You can't deny that there. I mean, here's the thing that's got to be tough about being in the Ross Chastain's position. It's like, and this is what sucks about NASCAR, is if in the football, somebody does like a dirty hit against somebody, you don't see them for a while. Even if they're like Ravens Steelers.
Right.
I mean, you see them twice, so like you're going to get a chance to get back at it, but then you get some time away.
You don't have to race them next week.
Guess what? All these drivers are going every week. They're going at each other. And so and if you make no friends, guess what? It's going to be lonely at the top.
It's 38 races in 39 weeks. That's what these guys got to do. It's insane. But, Josh, I just want to say, Kyle Larson is setting such a double standard, okay? Because one of his very best friends, Denny Hamlin, even talks about this, okay? Where Kyle Larson, he expects you to race him a little bit differently. He's 100% take, and he expects
you to let up, and Chastain's not the person who's going to let
exactly.
up. Chastain's not going to lift if you put him in the situation where you force him to lift.
Right, exactly. And it's one of those situations where Larson does the same thing, and he's not going to lift. So what? So what do you expect? You're racing the same way. It just didn't work out for either of you. I don't see how you can be mad.
Well, I think this like the last 3 weeks is the reason. It's just because it's like the scenario's played out multiple times.
Okay,
there's precedent, but I will say
it's not. If I'm Kyle Larson, it's not my fault that you couldn't fend off Denny Hamlin for the last 20 laps. Hamlin clearly had a better, faster car.
Yeah.
At Kansas. Okay, 1 lap too long, I guess the race was. That's not my fault if I'm wrong.
No,
Chastain.
I agree, Patrick. I hear you, but I'm pro Chastain here. Either way, neither of them get the win, and William Byron burned it down, and now he's hot. By the way,
Put a little money on that yesterday.
You did.
I did.
Nice.
A little $950 to win.
Shoot, I mean, and listen, I'll tell you what.
Had an all-time bet beat moment for myself yesterday.
What's that?
I put $3 total on the race yesterday. Okay, $1 on Byron to win, and I was looking through the odds, and I said, you know what? I said top 10 finish for Justin Haley. You know where he finished?
11th.
Finished 8th, Josh.
Oh,
finished 8th, and I'm going, oh my goodness, plus 3,000 odds. I put $2 down on it. I said, let's go. Let's have a time. Turns out it was it wasn't top 10. It was actually a top 5 bet. And wasn't aware.
I wouldn't say it's a bad beat as much as it was
a bad beat on myself.
On yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's tough, Patrick. Hey, but shout out William Byron getting the win, man. Patrick,
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Moving on to the MLB. Patrick, you sent me a Twitter tweet yesterday.
Twitter tweet, that's what happens.
And all of a sudden, so I'm watching some random guy hit a ball on fire for Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, I see Bryce Harper getting in a fight. And benches are cleared. What happened here?
A couple things here, Josh. Bryce Harper, he's coming back, chip on his shoulder, right? He can't throw a baseball right now, but
he can get in the batter's box.
But he can get in the batter's box. Apparently, he can try to throw some punches. I don't know how good that is in the Tommy John recovery. Not an expert, not a doctor, but I can't imagine that's a good thing, right?
Well, that's the thing you have to think about, though, Patrick, is right shoulder Tommy John, right?
It's elbow.
Right elbow Tommy John. Yep, right? Okay. So, and he's a righty, so he's going here to hit, right? Like this?
He's a lefty. He's
going here to hit, right? and so this is just, this is just pulling. So he's hitting with this left, so he's going through. Did he throw a left-hand punch?
We don't know. We're going to have to go back, watch the video evidence.
Well, I couldn't find the video of him actually getting in the fight.
I think he was all talk, really no...
All bark, no bite?
All bark, no bite. Well, but here's the thing, Josh.
What's that?
As you look at Bryce Harper, he's turning into a Philly icon. Good for him.
Well, right? That's a great Philly thing to do.
It's a great Philly thing to do.
All bark, no bite is like Philly's motto.
Right, it is. And you start sitting there and you go, we had the wrong guy in a playoff game yesterday. It's like you wish you had that fight from Joel Embiid.
Oh, yeah.
You wish you had that from Joel Embiid, and he didn't show it yesterday. He didn't show it. The Sixers, it's unfortunate. But we know. I mean, you put Philadelphia, you put the Phillies on the national stage. Hey, you know they're going to get it done until the brightest lights come on. Hey, it's the Philadelphia way.
Absolutely.
All bark, no bite.
Well, shout out. Bryce Harper. Shout out him getting in there, saying, hey, I'm going to bring viewers to baseball. And shout out the broadcast for not showing a single replay of the fight.
Hey, you know what? Because if we know anything about baseball, you know what's really good for baseball is not being able to show any of your highlights and not being able to find any clips. And guess what? Baseball does it well.
So great job, baseball, on that part. Yeah, we love the future of baseball and how they're expanding. Shout out Rob Manfred and all that you do
commissioner
for the sports.
Yeah.
Patrick, this next and in this final topic here on the show,
it's a sad one.
It's a sad one for you. It's like, it's ultimately a sad one for me. less sad for sure. So the 9-1 Defenders, who had,
10-1 with the playoffs coming in.
10-1 with the playoffs coming in. Mm-hmm. Great regular season. They come in. Listen, there was a time where I was like, is it Roughnecks? Is it Defenders? Defenders clearly figured it out. They had a great home field advantage. They had Tiamu was playing great ball. Their defense was balling. They're going in and they're playing the Arlington Renegades, who, remember, the Arlington Renegades only narrowly made it into the playoffs, but then they got hot. They go on to beat the Roughnecks in a game where everyone was thinking that, well, okay, Roughnecks can't lose this game because they're playing a team that every other week this season had basically not been able to score more than 2 touchdowns.
Right.
They lose to Arlington. So now they're coming in as Defenders versus Arlington, but nobody's even giving the Arlington a chance because it's like, okay, now they're going to play a real team. They're going to play the Defenders, who's the most complete team this year in football. And the Arlington goes out and just destroys the Defenders.
Yeah, it was
the Defenders didn't have a chance in that game.
Yeah, tough look. I preached here for a few weeks. DC Defenders have, you talk about defenses, you go 1985 Bears, 2000 Ravens, 2023 DC Defenders.
Did you just put the 2000 Ravens under or over?
It's in the ballpark.
Oh, it's over.
It's in the ballpark vicinity. Yeah, it was not a great defensive performance. If we know anything, defense has to stop the other team from scoring points. That's kind of their number one job, and they weren't able to do it. But Josh, if we know anything, we know that real leagues don't have to decide their champion in the playoffs. We know that's regular season titles. If we look at some of the most global international sports, Josh, we see that the Premier League, they don't have playoffs. And you go on, you win. And these two Defenders, they did their job. I mean, we look at the Boston Bruins.
Bruins should have been champions, yeah.
Well, they won the President's Cup. So, they were the champions of the regular season. So if we know anything, DC Defenders were still the best team in the XFL.
Still the best team in the XFL. Okay, got it. So we're gonna give the DC Defenders a regular season champions banner.
I think we should raise it in Audi Field, because if we know, I need to stop saying that. DC United's not going to raise a banner. So look, if I'm Audi Field, I'm saying, hey, we are raising a banner, regular season champions.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Well, good for them. But the postseason champions, the XFL champions. It
was also played in Texas, Josh. We know that's not fair. It was played in Texas.
I mean, a little bit of home field advantage for sure.
A little bit. I mean, they're talking about a car trip. Our fans had to fly. And if I don't see The Rock giving out, stimulus stipends for our fans to fly down.
Oh, that's a good point. Rock it seems like, is he a little bit biased
Was he pro Renegade? Maybe.
I don't know about that, but I do know the Defenders lose. And now it's like, does anything matter? And because there's not enough teams where it's like this, Patrick. It's like, how there was years there where the NFC East was just producing like a 7-win playoff team.
Yeah, it happens.
Or even now you could go with the NFC South, right? And the NFC South is producing, an 8-9, team.
Division winner, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. The only difference is those teams usually aren't the teams that are going on and win the Super Bowl.
Right.
And so it's like
tough look.
But it's also it's only a 1-week playoff. So it's like, of course, like maybe 1 week you can get lucky.
Because people forget half the league makes the playoffs.
So maybe we need to expand some teams. If by the way, I want to have a team. I want to start a Delaware team. And I think I could run it good.
I'm telling you, I already got it. It's the Delaware Sand Crabs. You have a light blue logo. I think it would work out well.
Yeah, maybe like a hint of like a little bit of red in there too.
Oh yeah, it'd be perfect.
Or maybe yellow. Maybe we're good. We're all scammer. Cool. Well, that's hey, this is a professional show. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the show. If you guys are still watching at this point, make sure you guys DM us on Instagram at Picks and Pancakes so you can get not only a free mug, but also a $10 McDonald's gift card, which you can use to buy pretty much anything at McDonald's as long as it's under $10. And then also make sure you guys go to picksandpancakes.com to read everything that's happening in sports. This is, beautiful Monday. Let's go have a fantastic week.
Happy Monday.
And I will see you Friday for another episode of Josh and Pat. A peace.
Peace.